The Meridian Alliance's first survey ship arrived on a Tuesday, which Dr. Maya Patel would later describe as cosmically inconsiderate, given that she had just sat down with her first cup of coffee. The massive vessel emerged from hyperspace with all the subtlety of a brass band in a library, casting a shadow over the International Space Station where Maya led the quantum consciousness research team. The aliens didn't bother with the usual protocols of first contact. Instead, they broadcasted their message across all frequencies with the smug assurance of a species that had colonized thousands of worlds. Primitive species of Sol 3, you will be evaluated for potential integration into the Meridian Alliance. Resistance is inadvisable. Maya took another sip of her coffee and watched the ship's swirling energy patterns through the station's observation window. After 15 years of studying the quantum properties of human consciousness, she recognized the familiar signature of advanced technology trying to scan Earth's defenses. What made her smile wasn't the scan itself, but rather what it wasn't detecting. "They can't see it, can they?" her colleague, Dr. James Rodriguez, asked as he floated into the observation module. His dark eyes sparkled with the same understanding that had Maya grinning into her coffee mug. "Not a trace," she confirmed. "All their fancy quantum sensors, and they're completely blind to the network." The network was Maya's life's work, the discovery that human consciousness generated a unique form of quantum energy, one that connected all of humanity in ways that defied conventional physics. It wasn't telepathy or any other science fiction trope, it was something far more fundamental. Humans, through their emotions and collective experiences, could influence quantum probability itself. The Meridian Alliance's emissary shuttle docked with the ISS 3 hours later. The alien delegation emerged through the airlock with an air of superiority that Maya found almost endearing. Their leader, a tall figure with iridescent scales and multiple sets of eyes, introduced himself as High Inspector Zorax. "We have analyzed your species," Zorax announced, his universal translator conveying his condescension perfectly. "Your technological development is centuries behind acceptable standards. Your social structures are chaotic. Your understanding of quantum mechanics is..." He paused for effect, rudimentary. Maya exchanged glances with James, both fighting to keep their expressions neutral. Around them, other members of the station's crew maintained their professional composure, though Maya could feel the ripple of amusement through the network. Humanity had learned long ago to keep their true capabilities hidden, especially after discovering how their collective emotional energy could reshape reality on a quantum level. However, Zorax continued, "Your species shows potential for eventual development. The Alliance is prepared to offer you protected status, under our guidance of course." "And if we decline?" Maya asked, carefully maintaining a mask of diplomatic politeness. Zorax's secondary eyes blinked in what might have been surprise. "Decline? No species has ever declined integration into the Alliance. The benefits are beyond your current comprehension. Besides," his tone grew harder, "rejection of Alliance protection would be viewed as a potential threat to galactic stability." That's when Maya felt it, the first tremor through the network. Millions of humans, watching the broadcast of this conversation, responding with a mixture of amusement and indignation. The quantum energy field rippled, invisible to Alliance sensors but clear as day to her trained perception. "High Inspector," Maya said carefully, "perhaps we should discuss this further after you've had a chance to more thoroughly study our species. There might be aspects of humanity that your initial survey has overlooked." Zorax made a sound that his translator rendered as a dismissive snort. "Our analysis is comprehensive. We have catalogued every significant technological achievement, every major cultural development, every scientific breakthrough. Your species holds no surprises for us." Maya felt the network pull stronger, humanity's collective response to the aliens' arrogance creating subtle quantum distortions that were already beginning to affect probability fields around the station. She noticed James discreetly checking his tablet, where quantum fluctuation readings were spiking off the charts. Very well, Maya said, letting just a hint of a smile show. Then in response to your generous offer, we will need time to consult with Earth's governments. Standard diplomatic procedure, you understand. The High Inspector's dismissal was clear in every movement as he turned to leave. You have 48 of your hours to accept our protection. After that, we will be forced to consider your species potentially hostile to galactic peace. As the alien delegation departed, Maya turned to James, their shared knowledge of what was about to unfold reflected in their eyes. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment, building and strengthening the network while keeping it hidden from detection. Now, faced with an alien civilization that thought they knew everything about humanity, it was finally time to show them just how wrong they were. Should we warn them? James asked, only half joking. Maya shook her head, watching the shuttle return to the Alliance vessel. They wouldn't believe us anyway. Sometimes the only way to learn is through experience. She paused, feeling another surge through the network as news of the alien ultimatum spread across Earth. And I have a feeling they're about to get quite an education. The Alliance ship hung in orbit, its crew completely unaware that they had just initiated a chain of events that would reshape their understanding of not just humanity, but the very nature of consciousness itself. As Maya finished her now cold coffee, she could already feel the growing resonance of billions of human minds, their collective response to the Alliance's arrogance building like a tsunami that no one but humanity could see coming. The first lesson about humanity was about to begin, and the Meridian Alliance had no idea they were about to become the students. The 48-hour deadline approached with all the subtlety of a countdown to New Year's Eve, if New Year's Eve had the potential to spark an interstellar incident. In the Quantum Consciousness Lab aboard the ISS, Maya and her team watched as the network's energy readings reached levels they'd never seen before. 7 billion people, James muttered, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the quantum field strength. 7 billion people all feeling the same mix of anticipation, defiance, and, is that excitement? Maya nodded, adjusting her instruments to better track the unprecedented surge in collective human consciousness. Humanity has always loved a good underdog story. Now we get to star in one. The Alliance flagship, the Eternal Dominion, had been joined by 3 more vessels, their hulls gleaming with the same arrogant certainty as their commanders. High Inspector Zorax's face appeared on every screen and device on Earth, his multiple eyes reflecting what he assumed to be inevitable victory. Your time has expired, he announced. Your silence is interpreted as resistance. The Alliance will now demonstrate the consequences of such foolish defiance. Maya felt the shift before her instruments detected it, a massive surge in the quantum network as humanity's collective response crystallized into something new. Billions of minds, united not in fear but in a kind of collective determination that sent ripples through the quantum fabric of space itself. The Alliance ships fired their first warning shot, a precise plasma burst aimed at an uninhabited section of the Sahara Desert. Or at least, that's where it was supposed to hit. Instead, the energy beam curved impossibly, tracing a perfect arc back into space, narrowly missing one of their own ships. In the stunned silence that followed, Maya opened a channel to the Eternal Dominion. High Inspector, she said calmly, perhaps now would be a good time for that more thorough study we suggested. The response came in the form of a full tactical scan, every sensor on the Alliance ships focused on Earth and the inexplicable phenomenon they just witnessed. Maya could practically feel their confusion as their instruments detected nothing unusual, nothing to explain how their perfectly calibrated weapons had malfunctioned so spectacularly. Impossible, Zorax's voice crackled through the calm, our targeting systems are flawless. This must be some form of primitive deflector technology. James couldn't help but laugh. They still think it's about technology. Maya watched as the network continued to strengthen. Across Earth, humans were sharing the video of the curved plasma beam, their collective amazement and joy feeding back into the quantum field, making it even stronger. The Alliance ship's energy signatures began to flicker as probability fields around them shifted unpredictably. What's happening to our systems? The panic in Zorax's voice was clear now. All quantum calculations are returning impossible results. That's because you're trying to impose order on chaos, Maya explained, feeling the network surge again. Human consciousness doesn't follow your neat, predictable patterns. We don't just observe quantum reality, we shape it. 7 billion minds, all connected, all influencing probability at the quantum level. Did your analysis miss that little detail? As if to demonstrate her point, the Alliance ship's gravity generators hiccuped, causing them to bob in space like corks in a cosmic ocean. Their advanced quantum computers, trying to compensate for the wildly shifting probability fields, began producing errors that should have been mathematically impossible. This is not possible, Zorax insisted, though his translator couldn't quite hide the tremor in his voice. Conscious manipulation of quantum fields requires technology far beyond your level. The energy requirements alone would be astronomical, Maya finished for him. If you were using technology. But we're not. This is just who we are. What we've always been, even before we understood it. Every human emotion, every shared experience, every moment of collective joy or sorrow or determination, it all feeds into the network, influencing reality itself at its most fundamental level. Around the Earth, the effects were becoming more pronounced. The Alliance ship's perfect formation dissolved as their positions in space became increasingly uncertain, a mass-scale demonstration of quantum uncertainty made manifest. Their sensors, designed to process quantum data, were overwhelming their systems with paradoxical readings. Your species, Zorax's voice had lost all its previous condescension, replaced by something approaching awe. What are you? Maya smiled, feeling the network pulse with the shared satisfaction of billions. We're human. And we've been trying to tell you, there's a lot more to us than your analysis suggested. The Alliance ships attempted to regroup, their commanders frantically trying to understand how a supposedly primitive species had turned their own advanced quantum technology against them without firing a single shot. But with every passing moment, the human quantum network grew stronger, fed by the collective emotions of a species that had just discovered it could stand up to the galaxy's greatest power. Perhaps, Maya suggested, we should discuss terms for a different kind of relationship between Earth and the Alliance. One based on mutual respect rather than protection? As she spoke, the quantum field rippled again, and for just a moment, every Alliance ship's exterior lights pulsed in perfect synchronization with the billions of human heartbeats on Earth, a small demonstration of just how deeply humanity could influence reality when united in purpose. The lesson was clear, the Alliance had come expecting to find a primitive species in need of guidance. Instead, they had discovered that humanity's greatest power lay not in their technology, but in their united consciousness, a force that could literally reshape the quantum foundations of the universe itself. News travels fast in an interconnected galaxy, but quantum disturbances travel even faster. Within days of humanity's demonstration of their collective consciousness, reports began flooding in from across Alliance space of inexplicable phenomena. On the crystalline worlds of the Axioni, ancient quantum computers began producing results that defied their programming. In the gas giant cities of the Nebulae Collective, gravity wells shifted unpredictably, creating aurora-like patterns that spelled out human words in languages that hadn't yet been translated. Maya found herself suddenly managing not just Earth's response to the Alliance, but also fielding calls from dozens of alien species, all demanding explanations for how their quantum-based technologies were being affected by what they termed the human resonance. It's like we've dropped a stone into the cosmic pond, she explained to the emergency session of the United Earth Council, and the ripples are reaching further than we ever imagined possible. James entered the conference room, his tablet displaying a three-dimensional map of the galaxy with spreading waves of quantum influence radiating from Earth. The network isn't just growing stronger, he reported, it's evolving. Every new species that becomes aware of our abilities somehow becomes part of the quantum equation. Their reactions, their emotions, their beliefs about us, it's all feeding back into the system. High Inspector Zorax, now serving as the Alliance's chief diplomatic liaison to Earth, a rapid promotion/demotion that reflected the Alliance's scrambling response to the situation, shifted uncomfortably in his specially designed chair. The Alliance Council is concerned about the implications. Some members are calling for immediate military action to contain the spread of human influence. And how's that discussion going? Maya asked, unable to keep a slight smile from her face. Zorax's scales rippled in what they'd learned was embarrassment. The quantum fluctuations are affecting our voting systems. Every time the Council attempts to vote on military action, the results somehow show that we've elected to send Earth gift baskets instead. We've had to resort to raising hands, which is, he shuddered, primitive. But military action was still a very real possibility. The Alliance's battle fleets were gathering at the edges of the Sol system, their weapons powered down to avoid any unfortunate quantum interactions with human consciousness. The show of force might have been more impressive if the ships could maintain consistent positions in space, but the human quantum field kept causing them to drift into unintentionally artistic formations. "We're receiving a transmission from the hive mind of Antares," James announced suddenly. "They're singing? It's some kind of quantum harmonic that's resonating with our network." Maya closed her eyes, feeling the new connection form. The Antarian consciousness, vast and alien, was somehow harmonizing with the human quantum field, creating patterns of interference and amplification that rippled through spacetime itself. "They understand," she whispered. "They're not trying to fight it or control it. They're joining in." The effect was immediate and stunning. Across Alliance space, quantum-sensitive instruments recorded a surge of activity as two different forms of consciousness merged and enhanced each other. The Antarians, a species that experienced reality as pure quantum probability, had recognized something of themselves in humanity's ability to influence quantum fields through collective consciousness. "This is unprecedented," Zorax declared, all four sets of eyes wide. "The Antarians have never directly communicated with any other species. They consider us all too." He struggled for the word, fixed. "Maybe that's been the problem all along," Maya suggested. "The Alliance tried to impose order on the galaxy, to make everything predictable and controllable. But consciousness, real consciousness, doesn't work that way. It's fluid, dynamic, unpredictable. That's its power." The quantum network pulsed again, stronger now with the addition of the Antarian consciousness. Across Earth, humans reported strange dreams of crystalline thoughts and mathematical emotions, while the Antarians experienced, for the first time, the peculiar solidity of human feelings. "The Council is reconvening," Zorax announced, his translator struggling to keep up with his rapid speech. "The Antarian alliance with Earth changes everything. Their quantum technology forms the basis of our fastest communication systems, our most advanced computers, our..." He trailed off, realizing he was revealing strategic information. "Your control over the galaxy?" Maya finished for him. "Maybe it's time for the Alliance to consider that control isn't always the answer. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is let go and see what patterns emerge naturally." As if in response to her words, the quantum field shifted again. The Alliance ships, still trying to maintain their threatening formation at the edge of the solar system, suddenly found themselves arranged in a perfect double helix, their energy signatures pulsing in time with the combined human Antarian consciousness. "Your species," Zorax said slowly, "continues to surprise us." Maya watched the holographic display as more and more quantum disturbances appeared across the galaxy, each one representing another consciousness responding to and joining with the growing network. "That's the thing about humans," she replied. "We've spent our entire history surprising ourselves. Why should the rest of the galaxy be any different?" The Alliance Council's final decision came without warning. In the early hours of a quiet Sunday morning, over 10,000 ships dropped out of hyperspace around Earth, their quantum shields modified to resist the influence of human consciousness. The Alliance had decided that humanity's growing power posed too great a risk to galactic stability. "This is your final warning," the transmission came from Admiral Nexus, the Alliance's most decorated military commander. "Earth's quantum influence must be contained. Surrender now, or we will be forced to take drastic measures." In the ISS Quantum Lab, Maya and James watched the massive fleet surround their planet. The ships had arranged themselves in a complex geometric pattern designed to create a quantum containment field, a cage for human consciousness. "They still don't understand," James said, shaking his head as he monitored the network's readings. "They think they can contain this with technology." Maya felt the quantum network pulse stronger than ever before. The threat to Earth had done what no other force could, it had united human consciousness with absolute clarity of purpose. Across the planet, billions of minds focused on a single thought: survival. "The network," she whispered, watching her instrument's readings climb off the charts. "It's not just growing anymore. It's transforming." The Alliance fleet initiated their containment protocol, generating a quantum field designed to isolate Earth from the rest of spacetime. For a moment, it seemed to work. The usual quantum fluctuations caused by human consciousness appeared to diminish. Then something unprecedented happened. The human quantum network, enhanced by its connection to the Antarian consciousness and strengthened by the collective will of 7 billion minds, didn't fight against the containment field. Instead, it embraced it, absorbed it, and transformed it. "Impossible." Admiral Nexus's voice crackled through the comm. "The containment field, they're using it to amplify their own quantum effects." Maya watched in awe as the network expanded exponentially. The Alliance ship's perfect formation began to waver, not from tactical failure, but because space itself was responding to human consciousness. The quantum probability fields around Earth had become so dense that reality itself seemed to blur. "It's beautiful," James breathed, watching as waves of quantum energy rippled through the fleet. Ships phased in and out of normal spacetime, their positions becoming probability clouds rather than fixed points. The Antarian song reached a crescendo in Maya's mind, their consciousness merging even more deeply with the human network. Through this connection, she suddenly understood what was happening. "We're not just influencing quantum fields anymore," she realized. "We're becoming quantum probability itself." Across Earth, people reported strange experiences, moments of seeing through others' eyes, feeling the thoughts of strangers, experiencing multiple possibilities simultaneously. The boundary between individual consciousness and the collective quantum field was dissolving. Admiral Nexus's flagship, the Quantum Absolute, attempted to fire its main weapon, a device designed to collapse quantum probability fields into a single, controlled outcome. The beam of pure quantum energy lanced toward Earth and shattered into an infinite array of possibilities. The weapon's effect rippled back through the Alliance fleet, causing ships to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Crew members found themselves experiencing every possible decision they could have made, every potential outcome of their lives playing out in parallel. "Stop this!" Nexus demanded, his voice echoing with quantum uncertainty. "Your species cannot be allowed to wield this kind of power." Maya opened a channel to the entire fleet. "You still don't understand. We're not wielding power, we are the power. Human consciousness evolved alongside quantum reality. We didn't create this ability, we just finally remembered we had it." The network pulsed again, and this time the effect was undeniable. The Alliance fleet's quantum drives, the most advanced technology in the galaxy, began to synchronize with human brainwave patterns. Each ship became a node in humanity's expanded consciousness, their quantum computers processing human thoughts as if they were natural extensions of the network. "The containment field," James reported, his voice filled with wonder. "It's not just failing, it's becoming part of something bigger. Something new." Maya could feel it too. The quantum network had reached a critical point, transforming from a mere connection between minds into a new state of consciousness that transcended traditional physics. The Alliance's attempt to contain humanity had instead catalyzed their evolution into something unprecedented in the galaxy's history. In the aftermath of what would later be called the Quantum Awakening, the galaxy found itself fundamentally changed. The Alliance fleet hung motionless around Earth, their crews forever transformed by their direct exposure to humanity's expanded consciousness. Admiral Nexus, once the epitome of military certainty, sat in silent meditation on his flagship's bridge, experiencing for the first time the profound interconnectedness of all conscious beings. Maya and James worked tirelessly in the quantum lab, no longer just monitoring the network but participating in its ongoing evolution. The boundaries between individual and collective consciousness had become fluid, creating a new form of existence that maintained human individuality while allowing unprecedented levels of connection and understanding. The Antarians were right all along, Maya mused, watching the quantum field ripple with the thoughts and emotions of billions. Consciousness isn't something that can be contained or controlled. It's a fundamental force of the universe, just as essential as gravity or electromagnetism. The Alliance Council, faced with the irrefutable reality of humanity's transformation, had called an emergency session. But this time, instead of trying to vote on containment measures, they were experiencing something entirely new: direct quantum communication with human consciousness. Through this connection, they began to understand. They saw humanity's history through human eyes, the long journey from cave paintings to quantum physics, the endless cycle of conflict and cooperation, the perpetual dance between individual ambition and collective achievement. They felt the deep human drive to explore, to question, to connect, to become more than they were. It's not just about power, Maya explained to the assembled council, her words carried through the quantum network so that every being in the galaxy could understand. It's about potential. Every species has it, this ability to transcend their current limitations, to evolve beyond what they thought possible. Humans didn't create this power, we just discovered it first because we never stopped questioning, never stopped reaching for something more. The Antarians' quantum song had become a symphony, joined now by countless other species as they began to discover their own connections to the universal consciousness. The rigid hierarchies of the Alliance began to dissolve, replaced by a new form of organization that respected both individual sovereignty and collective harmony. James monitored the expanding network with a sense of wonder. The quantum field, it's stabilizing. Different species are finding their own unique ways to connect with it. Some through technology, some through biological adaptation, some through pure consciousness. Zorax, who had remained on Earth throughout the crisis, finally understood what he had sensed about humans from the beginning, that mysterious quality that had made them seem simultaneously primitive and profound. "Your chaos," he said, his translator now perfectly conveying the complex emotions behind his words, it wasn't a weakness. It was preparation. Every conflict, every challenge, every moment of doubt and hope and fear and joy, it was all teaching you how to embrace uncertainty at the quantum level. The Alliance ships began to power down their containment fields, not under orders but through a collective realization that they were no longer necessary. The quantum network had evolved beyond the need for technological control or military force. It had become something organic, self-regulating, guided by the collective wisdom of all connected species. So what happens now? Zorax asked, watching as the quantum field settled into new patterns of harmony and complexity. Maya smiled, feeling the infinite possibilities rippling through the network. Now we learn together. Humans aren't meant to be the masters of this power, we're just the ones who stumbled upon it first. Every species has something unique to contribute to the universal consciousness. The real adventure is discovering what we can all become together. As if in response to her words, the quantum field pulsed with new energy. Across the galaxy, beings of all kinds began to experience the first glimpses of their own quantum potential. The age of separation was ending, and something new was beginning, not the rigid order the Alliance had tried to impose, nor the complete chaos they had feared from humanity's influence, but a dynamic balance between unity and diversity, between individual and collective, between certainty and infinite possibility. The Alliance fleet, no longer a tool of control but a symbol of connection, began to disperse across the stars. They carried with them not weapons or ultimatums, but an invitation, an opportunity for every species to discover their own relationship with the quantum consciousness that bound all living things together. Maya stood at the window of the ISS, watching Earth's quantum field shimmer with billion-fold consciousness. "They laughed at our hidden power," she said softly, "but in the end, the joke was on all of us. We never needed to fight. We just needed to wake up and remember what we've always been, conscious beings in a conscious universe, all of us far more extraordinary than we ever imagined." The quantum network pulsed one final time, a gentle reminder that this wasn't an ending but a beginning. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger reality, and they had brought the entire galaxy with them. The future was uncertain, probability clouds of infinite possibility shifting and swirling through spacetime, but for the first time in history, all conscious beings could face that uncertainty together, united not by force or fear, but by the simple, profound recognition of their shared connection to the cosmic dance of consciousness itself.